Alright, one of the big changes in Blackboard 9 is the ability to change the layout of items in your Blackboard course and to customize the look and feel of your course. So with your edit mode turned on, what you're going to want to do is you come up here to the upper left hand corner and you'll see a blue button with a plus sign in it. And you've got a bunch of options here, and what these buttons let you do is they let you have control of the content areas down here. Now remember, the content areas that you have in these buttons, these were the places where you would put your syllabus, you'd put your PowerPoints. You know, you might have a button for sending email, you have a link to the discussion board. There's all sorts of things that you can do with these content areas. Well, these content areas are really important because these are the main things that you want your students to do in your course. And so you now have the flexibility to customize a few things here. Okay, so you can create new content areas here, but there's all sorts of new things that you can create here using this menu, and I'm going to show you what you can do. Before I get into that, I want to show you, anytime you have an arrow like this, like you'll see an arrow next to these buttons when edit mode is turned on, that means that you can move the item around. Okay, so I can take my content areas and move them around. Now the advantage of doing this is that I can take my most important content areas, the ones I want my students to be using the most, and I can put them toward the top. So let's say I want my students to come in and get their PowerPoints. I'll put the course materials up here at the top. There's also menus that let you do things like rename your content areas and stuff like that. Okay, so anytime you have these drop-down menus, these little two arrows pointing down, that means you can customize it and have options. Okay, so let's look at this menu here and see what we can do. We can create a content area, and so I'll show you an example of a content area. I'll click on my course materials, and you have this these menus here at the top of your content area. Like I showed you before, you can create an item, but there's all sorts of other stuff you can do with content areas that I'll get into in later videos. But all of that functionality that was in the old Blackboard is now in those buttons. Okay, and any content area you create, whether it be you could call it your assignments, which is where you would put you usually put like homework assignments there. Course materials is where you usually put things like PowerPoints and readings and stuff like that. So you can really customize these content areas and arrange them how you want them and rename them how you want them. But there's more, because there's all these other options. Now within the actual menu itself, I want to show you the bottom two options. There's create a divider. Okay, so when you create a divider, a line comes up here, and what you can do is you can move that line anywhere you want, and so you can separate the items in your menu. And there's another thing you can do here, which is create subheader. Okay, and what that does is a menu comes up and you type in a name for the subheader. So you could say, you could name your content areas, like you could say something like course tools, and you could put that in, and then let's scroll down and grab that subheader and move it up above and we can call these our course tools, and then everything below this area, and here's what we can do. We can put another divider. We can put that divider underneath the course tools phrase, and there we have an area of just course tools right there. And then we could say, let's make another subheader, and we'll call it you know, miscellaneous. Okay, and then we can say that, you know, we can divide our tools up that way. You can divide the content areas here any way you want using these dividers and subheaders, and that way you can navigate your students through your content areas a little bit better. Remember, these content areas are what you want your students to be clicking on. It's where you want your students to go. It's the intellectual quest that you want to send your students on whenever they come to the Blackboard page. You know, what button do you want them to click on, and what do you want them to do when they click on that button? Okay. There's another really powerful thing that's a new change in Blackboard 9. Okay, there's actually, well, there's two of them. One, create a course link. Okay, this is a really powerful function. So let's say that there is a particular place in my Blackboard site, and I want my students to be able to access it immediately from the front page. Like, for example, let's say that there's a blog that they're going to be working on throughout the quarter. So I'll say blog project, and what I do is I browse my iLearn site, and I find the location of that blog in my site, and then what's going to happen, so I'm just going to randomly click on something because I don't actually have a blog here. So what's going to happen is when my students click on this this button here, when it says blog project, when my students click on that button, it's going to take them straight to the actual project. You used to have to click through multiple pages to get there, but you can put the link to any project, or maybe there's an assignment or something you want. You can put that button right there on the front page. Now when you do that, it says this link is hidden from students. What you want to do is you want to click this drop down menu and say show link, and now your students can actually see that button. Okay, so that's one big function of being able to link within your site. Now let me show you another function that's really powerful too, and I'll show you the power of this. There's an option to create an external link. Now it used to be that when you created an external link, what it would do is it would you would have to go into a menu and click on the link, and then it would open up. So let me show you. Let's just say you create an external link and it pops up. And so I created a link to Facebook. Now let's watch what happens when I click the link to Facebook. It redirects, by clicking on that content area, by clicking on that button, it redirects the student directly to the link, and it opens up in their window. They're still in Blackboard. They can still go back to the to their site if they want to by clicking this navigation item, but that whatever resource you're sending them to, they can go straight to that from your content areas. So there's a lot of power built into these content areas that allow you to do lots of different things. Okay, so that is the new big thing, is customizing your content areas. And again, you're free to do what you think is best with these content areas. You can move them around, you can put links within your course, you can move things around as you see fit. So that is a really big change with the new system. And again, you've got these arrows here, and you've also got arrows within the content areas, so you can move things around, you can move your announcements around, you can move your items around. Okay, so there's a lot more mobility of the items on the page. Alright, so that's all for this tutorial series on Blackboard 9. Coming up, I'm going to be doing some more in-depth tutorials on specific functions and features within the new Blackboard 9 system, and I'm going to be breaking things down even more specifically, showing you how to customize your site more and stuff like that. But for now, you should be good to go with Blackboard 9, and good luck out there, and happy teaching.